Good evening, everybody. This is my name is Michael Morgan, and we're going to be going over a few of the basics of Stay Home North Carolina today. We've had a few interviews and such lately that have caused us to not show our true side. So we're gonna let you all know a little bit about us today. The three main tenets of Stay Home North Carolina is the fact that we are a fully grassroots movement that believes in the power of the publicly elected offices of the governor and its power in the state of North Carolina. We also believe in the ability of the scientists and medical professionals, which make up the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, or the NCDHHS. And we also believe in the safety behind the orders and the research of these organizations. We believe that the current movement to go against not only the state of North Carolina's, but any state-mandated stay-at-home order is highly dangerous for the health and well-being of the citizens of North Carolina and the United States as a whole. The current trends of the curve, as we like to call it, or referring to the infectious curve of COVID-19, are still unknown and they're changing every day. We have no set curve. North Carolina, for example, still has not reached the peak of its curve, and we still may not for days or even for weeks. Once the peak has been reached, we still have a while to go before things will return to normal. But things will get back to normal eventually. It's just going to take time. To make our views clear, we are not against reopening the state. A lot of people have come to us saying, because they're saying to stay home, they want us to stay home forever. No, we want to reopen the state in a timely manner at the right moment to where it's going to be safest for all of North Carolina's citizens. And we want to wait for that right moment that is dictated by organizations such as NCD, HHS, and other state and federal organizations. For further clarification, no amount of money in this world is worth that of a human life. That's something that we believe very heavily here. Lives will not be traded to save the United States economy. You can't believe how many times I've seen people say that we should sacrifice the old people in order to get the economy running again. Like, how sad is that? And lastly, a survival of the fittest mentality saves nobody. We live in 2020, everybody. It is not the old ages. It is not the time where everybody has to kill others to get further up in their society. We can all make it here, and that's perfectly okay. Now, it's difficult to comprehend the scale of what's going on. To a lot of North Carolinians, it's just a story that's dominating the news and disrupting your everyday lives. But once it affects somebody that you know, somebody that's close to you, it goes from the abstract to the concrete. This is not something that's just for the elderly to worry about, not just for the immunocompromised or for those fighting cancer. It's also something for the parents of infants to worry about. It's something every single North Carolinian should be worried about. Everyone, and I say everyone, is capable of transmitting this disease, even if you don't show signs of it. Even the healthiest and youngest among us are still getting the virus. Now keep in mind that with all this, you will find a new job. You will rebound financially. You will get to go to your family gatherings and barbecues and things again. We just need to give it time. We will get through this, but we need everybody to cooperate. To the public officials of North Carolina and those of states beyond, I want you to think about what you're advocating for when you accept the ideals of these people that want to reopen early. Today in Wilmington, North Carolina, there was a protest of approximately 30 people that was allowed by town officials. No masks were being worn, and they were ignoring social distancing guidelines. You could see it through the video that was taken from people on the side of the road. It was just crazy, the fact that this was allowed in a time like this. And it's dangerous not just to the people around these protests, but to the protesters themselves. They're all sitting together, and if one person has the virus and isn't showing symptoms, gosh, they all probably have it. And it's a very sad thing to think about. So there are risks to the public health and dangerous to everybody around. We at Stay Home North Carolina are all for Americans expressing their First Amendment rights, but not at the expense of everyone's health. It's a very big distinction that we'd like to make. The next 2 Tuesdays, Reopen North Carolina is planning large protests in Raleigh. They will be busing people in from all different sides of the state, that have been funded by one person, surprisingly. And this is even more dangerous than the one in Wilmington today, because not only are you going to have people from all over the state coming together to protest this, we're going to have even more people in one place not being careful. You want to talk about spiking COVID again and getting even farther up the curve? We're going to get there if these are allowed. It's very scary. If one of these persons on any of these buses has COVID, that whole protest is at risk and the people around it. I would like to hope that the police officers and people of the city are going to do something to stop this from happening, because it's very dangerous, not only for the people there, not only for the people around, but also for the police officers that are going to have to watch the event and make sure that nothing happens. I beg the city of Raleigh to reconsider allowing the protests in the first place. The consequences can definitely be devastating. If any members of Reopen NC are looking to create a protest in your own municipality, of any municipality in our fine state, please reconsider for the safety of all of your residents. So now is the time for us to band together. Now's the time for us to join together as human beings in the fight against COVID-19. Let's show how far we've come scientifically as a nation. We must allow these scientists and doctors time to come up with a vaccine to this deadly virus so that we can utilize it to save the lives of millions. Fight for yourself. Fight for those around you. Fight for those that are most susceptible. Fight for those that don't know better. And lastly, fight to survive. Thank you for your time.